Did you break solitary confinement?
Absolutely not. And I approve of it.
In this box, there's not a pizza. In this box, there is not Kentucky Fried Chicken. In this box is the Chizza.
Chizza!
A little bit of chicken, a little bit of pizza. You got your fried chicken.
A little bit of chicken in my life. A little bit of pizza in my life. A little bit of melted cheese right here. A little bit of pepperoni here.
It is a delicious piece of Kentucky Fried Chicken, white cutlet, white meat. You melt a little mozzarella on there, a little mozzarella, as they say. You pop a couple pepperonis on there. It feels like a pizza. It eats like it's chicken. You put it all together. It's a Chizza. It's cut in two, so you can pull it apart in nice little triangles. It's all protein. You don't have to worry about the bread. You can get some low carbs in there. And the only place you can get the Chizza is at Kentucky Fried Chicken, is at KFC. You can get it right now at participating KFCs. The Chizza 2. White meat, extra crispy fillets, marinara sauce, mozzarella, pepperoni. Go to any participating KFC today. Order KFC's new Chizza at participating locations today. All right, let's get into it. We got the alien man here, the talk of the town, Mr. Consolidary Finement, as Dave would say. We got Chris Klemmer on the show. His KFC Radio debut, right?
That's right. I've really only been in this room once, I think.
Welcome.
Exciting. This is a thrill.
Klemmer did so much coke in here. It was crazy.
Fresh off your big week, 100 hours. You had the weekend to decompress, to soak everything in.
Get caught up
on the world. What are your first thoughts? What's your first reaction to everything here?
Like first thoughts now or first thoughts when I got out?
Both. You take it wherever
First
you want.
thoughts now are like elation. Like I'm very happy.
Yeah.
When I got out, just I guess confusion, befuddlement.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with how things turned out from my perspective. Like I'm really, really happy about how that all went down. I'm very pleased about that. Not super thrilled with how like I felt like my coworkers might have gotten some brunt. So that I don't love.
Well, that is, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Where that's something I've actually thought about this weekend with how things went. And like we were talking about earlier how I don't get angry. I was pretty pissed.
With the way, with what?
Well, with everything, really. Because there are two things in particular that got me angry to an extent. One was when Dave was called. I only watched a few seconds of his highlight reel of yelling at people, but I thought I overheard him be like, "Does anyone there fucking work or whatever?" And I started to think, because I have no misgivings about what the appearances are or what the opinions are of the two offices. Like I'm pretty aware of what it is, and it's one thing when it's like it's earned. I don't like when people don't work here.
Yeah.
If you want to say there are more successful people there, more likable, more talented, that's fine.
Sure.
That's fine.
But people do work, yeah.
People work here. Yeah. And I think that when Dave said it, that's when I started being like, okay, it's getting out of control now.
Right. The narrative is getting a little silly.
It's one thing if it's like people say that, because this is one of those things too where there's a rare situation where I was involved in every step of that. Mm-hmm. In that, like I didn't see the video. I might have been sitting right there. I was aware of everything that was happening. I think the story ended up becoming that. First of all, it was like 5 p.m. on Wednesday, I think.
Yes, I remember it being later. It was before I had my dinner and after my lunch. It was like close to dinner.
Or maybe it was Thursday. When
it was Wednesday.
It was Wednesday.
It was Thursday. It was Thursday.
Was it Thursday?
I think so. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, whatever day it was.
It was Wednesday or Thursday.
The story became that no one was working. Everyone was just sitting around watching a live stream while Klemmer tried to Morse code. I'm sorry. While Kenjack tried to Morse code that the stream had been shut off, and I was like, I was sitting there. That's not what was happening.
None of that happened. Yeah.
I was sitting there pitching a sketch. Kenjack was fucking around doing the Cheers theme song. Keegs had a stream up on her computer, which I don't know, like a lot of things were happening that I wouldn't do.
Right.
Like I wouldn't fucking Morse code tap to you. I wouldn't have the stream on my computer. But they're also not things that are out of the ordinary at this office in the entire existence of Barstool Sports.
Right.
It's also things that didn't happen. Like, he didn't do the Morse code. He did the Cheers theme. Also, from my perspective, that made me think that the stream not only was still going, but maybe successful, or my coworkers were like rallying me on. If that didn't happen, I'd be more suspicious.
Yeah.
Like, because if you're me and you're sitting there, like, you'd expect your friends. It was almost like being. I thought of it. It's almost like being in prison, and like another cell is like banging the pipe. You're like, yeah. And if you watch my reaction, which I know no one saw, but it's there somewhere, I'm running around going, freedom, freedom. Like, I get all excited, not because, and I'm playing to the cameras. I'm like, freedom. Look.
Yeah.
It only made me think the stream was happening more.
Right.
That's why I don't get like why.
But the working thing is what, like, because it's so easy when someone gets a lazy tag, it's so easy to dismiss them, and it's a deserved dismiss. If you are lazy, you should be dismissed, and just be like, fuck you, who cares? And I did some research.
Ooh. Wait a minute. This is a first. There's been research done on KFC Radio.
I don't know how accurate it is because I just asked people for information, and I asked for
sourced research.
Yeah, I was like, what are, again? This isn't. I am not trying to do. We are little brother to Chicago.
Yeah,
that is fine.
Yeah. Absolutely,
right. That is like, you want to talk about talent, success, all that stuff. Fine, but I'm talking about work. The people here work. I was like, give me a list of the shows. And again, this is I know for a fact it's not super accurate because there were shows on this list that are gone, and there were shows that exist that were not on it. Like Out of Order wasn't on it.
So it's a ballpark.
Jersey After Jerry wasn't. Jerry After Dark wasn't on it. Chef Donnie's show wasn't on it. But it was like there are 15 shows out of here. There were like 6 out of there. And then I asked the editor-in-chief. I was like, who does blogging? And he's like, it's about 80-20 New York, Chicago. And I was like, okay, so what was your subjective opinions are fine.
Right, if you like the people
whatever
better.
they like, that's fine. I will agree with you.
And those
they
6
kick our
shows
ass in
might
likability
be-
and success. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah.
But work happens.
But we work, yeah.
That work gets done,
Right.
and whether you don't like it, that's fine. But like, I hated seeing that. I hated Dave because then I'm safe, I think. But then when Dave's like, no one works, then people's jobs start getting put in danger, and it's like, oh, no one over there works anyway. Like, there's a lot. I don't know what money. I don't know anything, but I know in the lists of shows I asked for, a lot of them are here, so people are fucking working.
Right.
And I don't like people saying that people aren't working here. And then the next day, I saw a tweet about your thing from our accounts, not KFC Radio, but from Barstool Sports. This tweet pissed me off like I've never been pissed off, I think.
Maybe would you be mad enough to kill somebody?
Dude, I want to read it verbatim because I screenshotted it.
I mean,
oh, it's already open.
I was gonna say, okay. I was gonna say while you find it, but I was gonna say those accounts have never ever been like
but that's
on our side.
That's the
you know?
fucking bullshit.
Those accounts have been, tough on certain people and not certain people forever now.
And that's probably why you think, oh, this office works, this office doesn't work, because
everything you read,
because something gets 1,000 tweets, and it is crazy, it is childish and silly in the whole thing, but it also is just factual,
right?
Like,
well, when you complain about a tweet or something, it's like that sounds silly, but like in our world, it means a lot.
Yeah, it did. Like, I would go so far as to say, don't anyone dare give us one extra tweet because I'm complaining.
Right. Okay. Hey, bud, they won't. Don't worry about that.
I'm actually not even complaining. I'm just saying the sky is blue.
Yeah.
Where, like, when Jerry Stream gets 10,000 tweets that night, you're going to think, oh, they're working really hard. Mm-hmm. Whereas when, some of Marty's video that last week didn't get promoted at all.
Right.
Then you don't think anything.
Right.
But this tweet right here really, really annoyed me. It said, Stool Presidente single-handedly made Chris Klemmer's stream must-watch, but the NYC office just had to get involved. Motherfucker, it was happening here.
In New York.
Yes.
From a New York guy.
In this office.
With New York people involved. Vibbs was planning the whole entire thing. Vibbs is a New York guy. Like, everyone I talked to was in New York. Now, you can say, hey, the stream wasn't, they didn't like the stream, do it stream. That's a whole different argument. I understand both sides. I really do. But, like, people were working on it. People, anytime I ask someone to do content, they always say yes. Like, people do work here. People do want to work here. That tweet pissed me off, too.
Yeah, I mean, listen. the 6 shows in Chicago might be the 6 biggest shows in the world or whatever. I don't even know what they are, what they're not.
And again, those numbers aren't accurate, but they're at least.
But they're still a ballpark.
When I asked for the list, that was the list I got, and because I was looking at it, and I was like, well, this show doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But there were a lot more shows on the list. Just for anyone who's going to do some counting, there were a lot more shows on the list. I wasn't counting anything that obviously everyone's remote didn't count. Obviously, Dave's shows I didn't count. I was just counting shows where
ballpark.
either.
But, okay, at the very least, let's say you really counted out and was it 50-50?
I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to be like, is no one here working?
Right,
is that accurate? Is that true? Right. And from my research, it's not. People here fucking work.
Johnny,
and if you don't like it, you don't like
research. I like it. Johnny research.
Because it's just like when that starts, it's one of those things that just starts to snowball, and it's like, I don't want like.
Listen, at Barstool, and really the internet in general, and probably everywhere in the world, like perception is reality, and PR is like absolutely everything. And I know, like from my point of view, I feel like we in our show has never had good PR, probably through a lot of fault of our own, maybe some outside faults, but we just put our heads down and did it forever to the point that we're safe.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't bother me. But you're right. When the narrative that comes from outside of Barstool and then comes back into Barstool,
right? Because
people at Barstool are reading the narrative, you know what I mean?
And
then I'm like, well, wait a minute. Again, I hope we're safe, but like other people might not be. And if this is coming from like a bunch of tweets from people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, or a Reddit thread, or a Discord chat, or a Rumble chat, or whatever the fuck it is, if people start believing that, like I always kind of operated under the assumption people who work on the internet know how the internet works, and I don't know if that's always true.
I remember one of the first
because sometimes I'm like, wait a minute.
I remember one of the first things, not one of, like maybe the first thing Dave ever said to me in my first interview was like, "Are you a commenter?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, we can go on." And then like this might not have been an interview, but it was said early in my career where I was like, "Oh, the commenters are saying this." He's like, "I don't give a fuck what they say." I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either.
Like, at the time, I knew that wasn't true. Years have gone by. I don't believe that anymore.
That died the day that we closed the comments, and there was such an uproar from commenters that he turned it back on. And I was like, we know that means nothing.
It's I feel it's even beyond the comments at this point. Like, so I went to Chicago twice last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess, for the Combine and then the thing with Mincy. And, like, the Chicago office, everything about it, though, it is brand new. It's beautiful. Dan did a great job designing it. And people there, the energy there, even the positivity and optimism you feel there compared to when you walk in here, because people have been kicked in the face now for 7 straight months. is
7 months, Klemmer.
No, but I mean, like,
Klemmer.
I'm talking just
welcome to the fucking party, bro.
But like New York versus Chicago. I mean, since they moved there, right? However long they've been there. I mean, it's just been constant, just like kicks in the face, and it's just like, it's almost a point now where the comments have, I fear, are starting to come to truth. I think
perception becomes reality.
We're now entering a world or a zone where I think people are almost afraid to make content.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like, oh, this is why I'm starting to get like.
Well,
well, that's why I liked your little pump up speech at the end, where you're like, I thought you said you were saying something along the lines of like, this didn't go great, or Dave didn't like this, or whatever you said, and you're like, but that's okay. Like, I have the freedom to do it, and I was like, oh, that's the mindset you should have. You're like, in a couple months I might have another weird brain idea. I'm gonna do that one too, and maybe that'll fail. And
but that's been Klemmer. Klemmer's been that guy, and full credit to him because he's busting his ass to do those things.
And speaking of scared to make content, I think we ran into a situation. We ran into a situation with that. I think unlike one I've ever been in at Barstool.
You're right now.
No, but
before?
but that before, like when your last day. I still don't really understand Dave's logic. I understood a lot. Like for as often as I've ever, not often, but whenever I've ever disagreed with Dave with something, I've always seen it. I'm like, okay, I can see the sense.
Right, maybe I don't agree with it, but
I get what's happening here.
Yeah.
And this is, I'm sure it's happened a couple times, but this is the one that comes to mind, or one of the only that come to mind, where I was like, I don't understand what he's doing. Because we weren't allowed to make content. We weren't allowed to.
People were not allowed to speak to me. So I walked in after Solitaire. I get out, and it's fine. I I know my coworkers, and I know they all care about me, and I care about them. That's fine. But I walked in, you could smell the fear in the room.
There was a lot of people here who were excited to like film it and be like, Clemmer! And
people's eyes were like bug-eyed when I walked in, and they're like, and they didn't know what to do, and I could tell they were really frightened, and I pretty quickly figured out like what was kind of going on, I think. But yeah, I guess it was an order from top down to not have contact with.
It was like
that's
wild.
Okay, so let me just back up real quick. I would say two things. One, to push back a little bit, if you're gonna get scared and all that shit, like, it's probably not the right business for you. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but this, I mean,
I agree. I agree. It went too far, but also there has to be some level of people being like.
No, I mean, again, like
You were there. So I don't want to say
here. Like, I was watching in this room. Multiple people came and were like, just so you know, no cameras allowed.
Okay. So that's what I was gonna say. If like there's been, I mean, I did it for my whole career of times of being like, I don't really want to like say this about the boss, but I feel like I have to right now, or like we're arguing about shit, and so sometimes you do just have to like man up and push back. But to take it to the level of there is a decree, do not react. That, to me, is shtick. That's acting. That's phony. That's everything Barstool has never been. Let that guy walk out of the room, and what happens, happens.
Yeah.
That's Barstool. Maybe people naturally just go, whatever, Klemmer, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then that's funny. Maybe people go, holy fuck, throw a fucking party for him. Maybe somebody punches him in the face. I don't know. But you don't tell people you cannot react to something. That's not Barstool.
There's a chance that this is one of those things where, like,
we might be getting gassed, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm positive this is going at least through gas.
Yes.
So
it could have been Dave.
I don't know if Dave ever said like, "Do not do this," but that's how it was told.
That's how it was told. Yes.
It was Dave told Gaz, who then told everybody.
Well, I shouldn't say Dave. I know
so
Gaz
told
us. That's all I know.
Gaz told us that Dave told him.
Yes.
That's what we know for sure.
And
Dave,
no, I mean Gaz. I believe Gaz. He at least
Gaz has been known
to check his phone.
Gaz has been known to do things like leave out an important word here or there.
Yeah.
Like something where it just changes the entire context. So Dave could have said something like, you know, don't let people film him until after I react or something like that.
Right.
And then it became don't film him at all. I don't know.
So
it does seem a little bit out of character for Dave to be like, don't tell people to react.
A full office waiting to give you a hero's welcome.
Or not.
And it was like...
And that's fine, too.
No, but there was. I mean, and I was like... I was talking to John. I was like, I think we should have him come right in and come right on the show. We were talking about making merch and all these things.
And even I was like, let's make sure we're not stepping on any of their toes right there.
That is something that I do think people need to get better at too. Is making content is not always necessarily just jumping on content. Like, and I think everybody should play off of each other and ride coattails and prop each other up. But sometimes it is like a little bit like, let that person do it. Oh, okay, Dave's now made it a thing, but like you don't need to make it a thing. So there's just stuff you need to navigate that I do understand. I think Dave loved this idea so much of turning it off, letting you suffer, and then the rebellion, and he got to play like the dictator, and then the puzzle. The puzzle I know directly came from our boy Wally Mario, you know. He tweeted saying, "Here's what the puzzle should be," and then the next tweet from Dave was like, "Here's what the puzzle is."
Oh, really?
So like, his idea was to do the second puzzle, I think.
Yeah.
So, like, anyway, my point being like, there's a couple things that people can do better and different here, but then once it's like, I mean, nobody would take a picture of Klemmer. Because they were like, then I'll be in the content, and then I'll be in trouble for that.
Yeah, the picture I tweeted. People were afraid to take that picture.
That's
I said, I promise
crazy.
I won't. I just need someone. I'm laying down. I can't do it myself. I promise I won't.
I can't do it all, guys.
I won't tell anyone who took it. I promise. And it took me a while.
And that's also one of those things that again snowballs where it's like, well, it don't work there. Like, everyone wanted it. We were told not to.
But I mean, I guess it's just very hard for me to say this. 15 years in, like,
I mean,
not being like. Take the fucking picture, guys.
I would take a picture. I had a train, so I was like, I'm just gonna get out of here anyway. Fuck it. But had I not had that train, and had I stayed, or had that train been a half hour later, and there was still reason for me to be here another half hour, I wouldn't have filmed anything. If you asked me to take a picture, I would have taken a picture. But I wouldn't have filmed anything. I wouldn't have done anything.
No, I probably wouldn't have done that either, because you do reach a point of like, it's just not worth the headache.
Yeah.
I don't need Kirk and Whitney and Dave on my ass the next week or whatever. But like.
There is for sure.
But
There's no like that. Like we will never get over that perception is reality of the two offices if that shit's going on.
So you said
Like
something earlier,
that's-
and I want to kind of push back or clarify this a little bit. You said, hey, if you are kind of running scared, then maybe this isn't the job for you.
Yeah.
And I'll speak from experience. You're absolutely right. So like my first 5 months here, I was running scared. I was in my own head. I was terrified. I would be so scared to tweet anything. Sometimes I wouldn't tweet for 3 or 4 days because I was so fragile. If I saw one bad comment, I'd melt
get it.
down.
Yeah.
I was new here. I was a mess. Believe it or not, I'm 20 pounds heavier. I was a train wreck. I was an emotional basket. I was 20. If you watch the mini golf,
Dog, I was looking at you today going, damn, Klemmer needs to eat a sandwich. And you were 20 pounds
if you
lighter?
watch the mini golf, the thing we did, I think it's my second day here, I am 17 pounds lighter than I am right now.
Can I ask an invasive question? Are you just a skinny guy, or do you have
Always been
something
skinny.
wrong? You have
I've been
something like
skinny since I was a-
deficiency, or are you just skinny?
I'm sure something wrong with me. I've been skinny since I was a baby.
Have you
Okay.
ever tried to put on weight?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Like I had a buddy who's skinny like you, and he would eat a meal, and then he would eat a meal replacement shake.
I tried the
Like,
shakes.
dude, something I can do.
Lights out, bro. At
I
one point,
can do that in bed.
at one point, I watched you today. You had 3 different meals from scraps from people. You were like, okay, I'll hit that. You're like, no. Yeah. You had 3 different scraps of food from people. It was amazing.
But my buddy would do that, and then he would. This is like we were probably early 20s, and then he would like literally start convulsing in pain because like I guess his
your
metabolism
body's
would be
just
working.
like-
Yeah.
He'd be like, feel my stomach, and it would be like hard and hot.
Yes.
And it
and
was
you
like,
get mad or stomach issues, you have like diarrhea. Like,
I'm sure there's times in your life where you didn't like it, but I feel like as you get older, it's awesome. No.
oh, I don't care. I've been the same size. Like so, I'm the same size so much that my clothes deteriorate. Because I can
you
wear
don't
them
get rid
forever.
of
Because I never like I'm the same size more or
That's
less that I've been
hilarious.
since I was 17.
That
So,
is
like,
crazy.
I
That's what 79 years.
Yeah, well, give or take it too. But
Wait,
yeah,
okay, let's go back though. You were saying
yeah,
you were
so,
saying you were pushing back on what I was saying.
Right. So I was this fragile mess. So I get that, and I honestly those first 5 months I shouldn't have had a job here. I wasn't creating content. I was too scared. I wasn't doing my job. That is true. What I feel like is transpiring now in our office, and there's a lot of reasons why. It's not just Dave. This is not just a Dave thing. We are a rudderless ship right now. We have no leadership, and we have an office that's terrified to sneeze. And that is a culture for either shitty
problem.
or either the safest, most like
Lame
delicate
shit,
content
yeah.
ever that no one really will like, or nothing.
Okay, let me push back one more time then though, because I would say that the most like barstool content in the last how long has come out of New York. All the fighting,
All the fighting.
all the drama,
Yep.
all the like weird internet shit. Jerry's doing weird internet shit, but also that kind of starts to border on like trick shot stuff. You know what I mean? But like internet drama, infighting, like that's the true like that's my barstool. That's all New York.
All the drama.
So I'm like, I don't. What do you like? To me, I think it's a great way to have. You have Chicago that does like Chicago stuff, and you have New York where it's like a gutter war.
I think you need a balance.
That would be great, but instead of the narrative of being that, it's like, fuck this one, we like that one, and then
which
the
is fair
narrative
because
becomes-
all the cunts work here.
But that's
Like,
but that's
like,
what
and
you
don't get me
need
wrong,
at
I'm
Barstool.
friends with all the cunts
That's what
and love all
Barstool
the cunts,
Sports
but
needs.
they're all cunts.
Bro. Barstool Sports was built on cunts. It was raised on cunts. It is for cunts. Like it's
I actually
not.
would say
It's not the buddy shit. It never has been. It never was.
I would say
We have
even
never
to
been friends
your-
except for maybe me and you.
to what you were saying about like leaders and stuff like that. Like Barstool Sports, I would say never had a leader.
No.
Like
I
Dave is a leader. Obviously, he is the face.
No.
But, like-
There's a boss. There's a top. There's
Yeah.
not a leader.
Yeah,
and
right.
There's no, and he's not like I've been working here 20 months.
And Dave would say that himself.
Dave,
too. Like,
let me just clarify that because I don't want that to be misconstrued. Dave has never been like, I will show you the way.
Right.
Follow me, and I will teach you how to do this. I will develop you, and I will release you into the wild, and then you'll go be famous. He's like, I don't know how to do it. I just do it. Like he's one of those guys.
Well, he's so naturally gifted at.
Right.
He is he's the Edison
He's
of
the GOAT.
content.
No,
Like, he is
I mean,
amazing. Like he's
if you have to pick like the
incredible.
greatest internet creator of all time, it's probably him. But he's not gonna be like, okay, so here's what you should title your podcast, and here's what it should be about. And so there's nobody
Well,
there's no meeting like that.
Like Ted Williams was a shitty manager. You know
Yeah.
why? Because it was so fucking easy for him. It's like that scene in
Good
Good Will Hunting.
typical Michael Jordan sucks as an executive
Yeah,
because he's just like I don't know, man.
like when
I can do this. I can't build this.
Matt Damon's yelling at his press. He's like, "This is so fucking easy for me. What the fuck?"
Yes.
And I understand how Dave would probably look at me and be like, "You're on this street. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't have your gift, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can with what I have.
Well, also, what I also don't love is like you stepped up and did something. It's kind of like just put the shot up and maybe we get a putback. You know what I mean?
I thought it'd be a weird cult. Honestly, like I thought it'd be honestly, what happened until Wednesday is what I thought it would be. It got anywhere between like 1,000 to 3,000 concurrents.
Yeah.
It was a weird cult thing. The chat was like creating their own little universe with their own little in jokes, and
Sure.
it became that.
And I think
Which is what I thought it was
we
gonna
could have
be.
maybe done some different challenges that were more appealing to the viewer. I think there's a couple kinks to work out if we ever do it
There
again.
were many things that could have made it better. I'm not saying it was at all perfect.
So I get
at all.
I get the other side of it, but thank you, bro.
Thank you.
But what was I saying? I think you stepped up and put the shot up, and then that allowed for like a putback, or it was like Dave stepped in and did something with content that was being made. That to me is like a win. Like I would have been like, good job, because the alternative of this was just another regular fucking week at Barstool.
Right.
So to me, I think it was like you got up off your ass, did something. Would it have been great if you were just like fucking electric as a one-man show and the whole world fell in love with you and like you got 1 billion followers and all that shit? Like, yes, that's not what happened. But what did happen is it caught the eye for better or worse, the right reasons, the wrong reasons. It jumped out. It started this thing. That's what like Barstool is. And then Dave tends to do these things. He did it with Zillion Beers. He did it with Saturdays with the Boys for a little bit. Like he says, that's not good. That's dumb. And then if it proves out to be true, he's correct. And if it proves out to be wrong, he makes money or he looks good in the end. You know what I mean? Like he always comes out on top.
Right.
So it's easy to just like shit on it and then turn it into something and then be like, well, without me, this was nothing. And it's like, well, yeah, without you, there's none of it. Like none of this is anything. You know what I mean?
He said in there was like a company-wide meeting, like maybe my second month here, and it really stuck with me because he's like, you make content, and then what we'll do is Barstool can throw gasoline on it.
Right.
And that was honestly in my head the entire time I was playing this. I'm like, me alone with Baseball Encyclopedia, is that enough? Maybe for some, probably not for all, but maybe something weird will happen, a hook. I'll do something, because I do inadvertently weird shit all the fucking time.
Yep.
Maybe something that will gravitate, or someone will, or maybe you guys will find something will
The
happen.
dumbest shit on the internet goes viral all the time. It's like,
you're
I don't know why.
All right, and that can be the gasoline.
Yeah.
And that's kind of was, don't get me wrong, this was not the plan. But like, that was kind of the idea, was like, all right, I'll throw this, like you said, I'll throw this up and maybe something better happens with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was my idea,
Right.
at least going in.
Right. It's
Which
just
is,
like,
I think,
that's
the best.
what all content.
I think that's how most ideas end up working out. Where you're like, I'll try this, and then something bigger.
Well, especially
exactly what you're saying,
at the level we're talking about, like part of my take goes in the studio. They're not looking for like, we need something wacky to happen. They're just like, we're going to bang this shit out. People love it.
Yeah.
Everything else that's like new or trying to get on, it's like, I hope some shit happens, and then usually something at Barstool does. And I thought that's a good thing. But apparently, that spiraled into something that was being portrayed as a negative, which I thought was pretty fucking crazy.
And I think, and to go back to my...
Wait, and let me just say
sorry.
one other thing. What I was fully on board with Dave was the original reaction to the cutting of the stream, where people were like, "We are now falsely or like illegally imprisoning Klemmer and all that." Like that felt soft to me. Maybe I'm an old fucking internet cunt too now, but I was like, I don't know, guys. He doesn't know the fucking difference. He's gonna be in there one way or the other. Like, whatever. Do I think it's great for the next guy coming down the road who like he had an idea to do a stream and now he sees that Dave like fucking dunked on him and clowned him on the internet, so maybe those people don't do those things? No. But I don't know. There was a lot of like hemming and hawing and crying about it. And I was like, I don't know. This shit happens at Barstool all the fucking time.
Had we been here, we were in Austin when it happened. Had we been here, I might have done a jailbreak, which I'm glad we weren't here.
A jailbreak?
Because
you were feeling away about it?
I mean, like I not really, but like I just thought that would have been funny,
Right.
And I'm glad I wasn't here to fuck it up,
Yeah.
because what ended up happening was way better,
Right.
But I had some. I felt bad for sure. But I would.
I felt bad
the
for
jailbreak would have been because of I would have thought like maybe that could be some better content rather than
just nothing.
rescuing.
Yeah.
Actually rescuing Klemmer.
I'm at the end of the day, I'm also
Imagine like a rope just came
I know,
down
right?
with like a bucket.
Yeah,
It says like,
couldn't
get in
have-
here, alien
and I
man.
put it around my waist. and you guys will-
Because we've done a sketch in that room before, so I was trying to think. I was like, is there another way into that room that we can break?
But I might
Klemmer
not
out?
want to leave. Like at the end of the day, I'm also like a big boy. Like I can take that's fun. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I said, I am so happy with how it all turned out. And a lot of that, almost all that's because of Dave amplifying it, making me
yes,
the
but
good
that's
guy in
what
this weird Truman
Barstool
Show sequel.
and the Clemaholics was trending. The name was
Yes.
trending. There's a cult following. Like that, I just don't like when that just gets lost. It's just like, what, that didn't happen? Like, yes, I know that Dave, like, again, was the catalyst for it. But if the other side of the thing is not funny, like, it's funny to be a Clemaholic. You're
Yes.
this weird dude, and it's like if it was me, if it was you, like it wouldn't, it would just be like, okay, that stream's over.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like you represent. It's the same thing that happened on Barstool Radio when you said to Dave, "All right, like then fucking fire me." People were like, "Holy shit, the alien man doesn't give a fuck about the boss." That's why it works. So you get credit for that, but I know that he knows that, like the general internet doesn't, and that's where I'm like, why?
I would disagree with that. I would think the general internet is. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, you know what?
could
You
tell
know
me
what?
better
You're probably
than
right. The general internet, but it's as always like the silent majority
I feel
knows
like
that,
I
and the
feel like
vocal
a-
minority will be like, "What are you talking about? That was all Dave." And it's
Yeah.
like the person who started this and caused all this.
The people, I've been very fortunate. The people have been very kind to me. Like the stories.
I love that. That
Very
was
good.
such a great quote you had.
Like,
You're
they have been, like-
you're like the people are good. The
Yeah,
people are good
that's
to
like
me.
the people. It's about the people.
They're good to me. Like they had my back with the Mean Girls thing. They had my back with this. They're usually pretty open to my weird, stupid ideas. They embrace the hell out of Rat Race. Like they'll also be the first one to tell me I'm a weird, skinny, and they're probably right some of the times. And like,
listen, you're
but
an alien man.
And sometimes I do have really really boring, myopic things that I want to do that would interest nobody else.
Well, yeah, yes, you're autistic. Everybody's on the spectrum here. We know it.
Yeah, but they're generally pretty good to me. So that's like I said, the solitary confinement thing to me. If you told me before I went in there, this is how it would end up, I'd be like, yep, that's awesome.
Cool.
My issue
Made
is
waves.
we now have an office that is terrified to do anything, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know who can, and I don't know what to do.
There's only one guy who can. I don't think he's gonna do it anytime soon.
Then what do we do? Because Chicago has, and I know you say like it's not buddy buddy. I think times are changing a tiny bit. Where I think people are becoming, some would say softer, some would say nicer, whatever. I think that buddy buddy or that kind of like the kindness thing is starting to become bigger than it was when we were 10 years ago when we were younger.
I would tend to agree with that.
Like look at the Yak. The Yak is just buddies hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I think
I-
listen, anything that Dave has his hands in is not going to be buddy. That's what comes out.
Yeah.
The Yak is left alone.
Right.
Chicago's left alone.
But it's also
Dan gets
wildly
left
successful.
alone.
Like the Yak's a really successful show.
Totally.
Would that have been successful 15 years ago? Maybe not as much because people wanted more nasty sarcasm and nasty infighting.
Like part of this week was Dave being like, he's calling like the Yak pussies or pussy Yak or something like that. You know what I mean?
I think part of that is podcasts. I think when podcasts started, I think talk radio was always combative.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then podcasts got popular, and people were like, oh, it's actually kind of relaxing, or whatever. I don't like podcasts, so whatever people who listen to podcasts like about them, like it's better to just hang out with friends. So yeah, I would agree that the trend is definitely. Although maybe now it's been 10 years of podcasts, maybe now people are looking for combative stuff.
Maybe it's going back the other way.
Yeah.
I think Dave is very protective over the Barstool brand, rightfully so. And I think anytime he's, I mean, this is twice in a row now it's happened, where he said if someone's tuning into Barstool for the first time and they see that iteration of Barstool Radio, they're not coming back to Barstool. If they tune in and they see this guy sleeping, they're not coming back. He will always have the right to do that, but he's gonna do that. You're not really gonna be able to like stumble your way through it and just like buddy up because like he'll pull the plug.
I think I said it in the act. I don't mind it at all. Like I said, it's like CBS has a sitcom. If the first 3 episodes don't work, they pull a sitcom.
Yeah.
That's show business, kids.
Yeah,
tough shit. Figure it out.
Right.
And I said all along this is experimental. So like maybe it shouldn't have been on the main channel. Maybe I should have put my foot, and been like, this shouldn't be on the main channel. But the way it all ended up seemed okay. Like I'm fine with.
That's a whole other discussion. I mean, I had a Chris Klemmer YouTube ready to go right away, and I said let's at least, and I know part of it was proving Dave wrong and having it be on Barstool, so I know that's not what the people wanted, but I do think there's a world where the Clemaholics would have gone over to a Rumble channel and a YouTube channel for you, and
I know Kirk too. Kirk said, "Oh, put it on my channel."
There were other ways to do it that I think also probably would just benefit like you in the long run, which is probably a good idea to like help build. But it's not gonna be that. It's just a wasted effort. It's just not gonna be that place. It's gonna be like sink or swim with the knife, like the thing right on your neck,
the
like
guillotine,
every time.
yeah.
The guillotine right on your neck.
The New York office right now, you're absolutely right. We are the epicenter for the drama. Like it is. Like I think Chicago would 100% agree with that. In fact, very gladly probably agree with that.
Totally.
But I feel like that's kind of all. And you're right. We do work here, but I feel like all we're recognized for is that drama. I think we need to. The content for being so, like I said, terrified lately has me very alarmed. For like, all right, so. Who's going to pitch the next idea? Who's going to take the next? Who's going to do the next idea? Mm-hmm. And I see a room right now of I want people to do that. And like Tommy does. Tommy does his shit no matter what. But I don't know. I know there's talented people in there. I know there are good ideas. I know there are hardworking people because we blog the most. We do work. We show up. Believe it or not, people, we do show up. Oh. The office looks empty because we have a big fucking space. We have like 12 content people who work. They all left. They all went to Chicago. And not only that, but like, Jeff Hilo went, to LA. Like we lost a lot of people at once. Roan is very busy. He's busting his ass, but he's not in the office every day, like a lot of us are because he's busy. And we have chicks in the office. Well, they're on a mega tour. Like a lot of the people we have, Trent often, he comes in whenever he can. He busts his ass, but sometimes he's going and making zillions of dollars doing.
I was going to say,
so a lot of the
they got other things to do with the Foreplay Boys.
A lot of the people we have are busy doing big, giant stuff. And, you guys are in here doing 5 shows a week. So it's like, that's the other problem is I feel like we have this weird thing where we have like a lot of top bananas and we have a lot of like people like me, kind of like, the utility guys, and we don't have a lot of the mid-range players. I feel like Chicago is all the like high-end mid-range players. We need more of that, and I don't know how to get that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. There's not like a solution to it because it's always.
I don't see that as a problem. I honestly.
No, I was gonna say I don't think. I think that the minute that you stop worrying about that and just like, the only thing that is annoying is when it seems like, internet chatter matters.
I think
that's annoying.
I think after my weekend of research, 20 minutes, I don't think there's any problem here at all. I think the way you're speaking makes me think that
there's
people
a perception
out there
problem.
think there is.
Yeah.
But like I think
but like if you're out here, you're not like thinking like, oh, I'm getting a raise or like big money's coming my way or like recognition, like, you know what I mean? Like, come to work and do it, but like there's for sure a perception is reality problem here.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, from the inside looking out, like that is a problem. It's not like you're gonna like lose your job, but it's like a problem of like, I don't know. It's not very attractive, It's not an attractive situation to come into when it's like
maybe it's an enthusiasm
but
problem.
you mentioned it before. Like Marty Mush makes a video getting a hit off Trevor Bauer.
Yes.
If that was certain people, it would be like at the top. Marty Mush is
the Trevor Bauer.
You get the reaction you kind of get. Like you can't like force it or change it. And sometimes it just kind of is what it is, and it sucks. Like there's on the internet there has just always been haves and have-nots. And sometimes it's because you're likable, and sometimes it's because you're unlikable. Sometimes you might be unlikable in the internet thinks you're unlikable, and you're likable in real life. Sometimes I fucked something up in my life, so people don't like me now. Like there's just weird shit where your like reputation is kind of just like there. You know what I mean? That feels, I would imagine, for some of the people here, a bit like, Sisyphusian. It's like, for what? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get the recognition or the money or the, whatever. So, or, even just like the tweets from the accounts and the support. So I do get where they're coming from.
Do you think people are
I would
happy
tell
here?
you, though, like it ain't changing anytime soon. I don't think there's an easy solution to it. So I side with him. Like, don't worry about it. Just like go do shit.
Do you think people are happy here?
When people are happy?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think people are happy anywhere, Clemmer.
That's a deeper question.
I'm pretty happy. I'm happy all the time. This is the greatest thing in the world. I get to have this job. If that fucking yak wheel had spin a different way, I'm selling fireplaces in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And that's not a joke. Yeah. And I'm so I come to work every day, man, for fucking 20 years. For a good 18 years, I would hit the snooze button and be like, I can't believe I got to go to fucking work today. For 18 years, man, I had to sell random shit. And now I'm happy every day.
That is palpable with you. And I don't know if that's palpable for everybody else. I also
don't think it should be.
But it makes a difference. Like, the internet will like that. The internet knows that. The internet can tell that you're a weird dude who was selling fucking fireplaces and now gets to do this wacky shit. And then you can kind of feel a sense of entitlement or laziness or whatever you want to call it, or whether it's right or wrong. There are those vibes on the internet where people like feel that sort of shit. Whereas like Klemmer, you will get the people will love you for one reason or another.
Well, I'm sure I know myself when I was, say, 6 years ago, I'm in an office, a windowless office. They gave me an office, but they didn't give me a window. And, I'm selling.
Those are called closets.
Yeah, exactly. You're right, exactly. It's like, you get your own office. And it's like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And, don't mind, the mop. And I'm selling fucking, signage. And it was a fine job and it was great. But, like, I was thinking every day, oh, my God, I would love to be. And I've been following you for a long time. Because of the Mets and Jets stuff. So, like, oh, my God, imagine, being able to. Talk Mets and Jets all day. Or imagine being able to like every guy listening to this right now, I don't care if they're auto mechanic, if they're in a cube, or if they're in the windowless office like me, they're all like, I would give anything to be on that couch and get paid for it. It's amazing. And to be able to do it is great. And I think that, and maybe this is a New York problem, this is on us a little bit. I think we kind of like sometimes have lost that. And we're just kind of so in our own head. It's like, no, we have a great job. Enjoy the fucking. This is awesome.
Well, yeah, that. I mean, I've always been very cognizant of that like a lot of Barstool issues or Barstool problems come across as champagne problems.
Yes,
fact for sure. But also, then when you are in this world and you are in show business, you are in Hollywood. Basically, this is the new Hollywood. We're not doing movies and shit, but like. Internet content is making millions of dollars. It's making superstars, all that shit. Once you are then in that world, you are then kind of playing by those rules where certain things that maybe come across as like, oh, why are you complaining about this or that? It's like, well, that's my fucking job. Those are the things I have to worry about. You know what I mean? So I do get the frustration from some people or are complaining about certain things that, yes, the ditch digger is going to be like, fuck you. But it's like, I'm not a ditch digger, dude. Like there are people in this world who are then like, well, I want to succeed and get here and do this and do that. And all these things stand in my way. And they're soft, they're pussy, they're whatever, but they're real in this realm,
I understand that. And you also you have to tell your story, whatever your story is, and whether it be you're staying at a fancy hotel because you can afford it or whatever it is. But I think there's a real as much as I'll defend the New York office because I love these guys and I love being here, but like there's an enthusiasm issue in New York, and I think like it's not my money, so it's easy for me to say. But if we went and hired 3 24-year-olds or whatever, maybe an old guy like me or whatever, and gave them paid them whatever we pay a starting person to be here, and they were excited to be here, and they had new ideas and were amped to be here. I think that's how you change the attitude.
Dogs run faster, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but like, I don't know.
I'm the newest hire on that floor, and I've been here almost 2 years.
But
that's not that long though, bro.
But for any job though, like to be the newest hot, like I would think you'd want some new fresh voices.
But like a lot has happened. We know what like the company's in a different place. If Penn was around, there'd probably be more new faces. So like it's there's also just circumstances that matter. Business
of course,
that
matters,
of
course. And Dave,
when people are getting fired, we're not gonna be like hiring new people.
Course.
And so
in the 20 months I've been here, it's been a wild amount of changes.
Totally.
Right. And I said it's easy for me to say it's Dave's money, not mine. But like
it's one of those things too, where like it's like like when your grandfather's talking about walking up a hill both ways, you're like, well, it's better now. That's nice. But like the way what you're describing, again is Barstool Sports. Like where you're like I remember the first time you guys came to Milton, you were like, this is the most depressing, horrifying place.
I was just about to jump in and say like, listen, guys, we can talk about this forever and circles and circles and circles. It's what Barstool is. It's where it came from. It's how it's run, and it's not changing. It's not, and I probably would do things differently. It's not up to me. There's probably it's gonna be this way. Because doing it this way made it what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
right.
Dave's always like, shut the fuck up because I got it to $600 million. I would love to say like, well, maybe what if it was $1 billion? If we did things a little differently. And he's going to go, shut the fuck up. And I'm going to go, okay. Because that's at the end of the day what it is. Now, Dan has become such a superstar in his own right. He kind of gets to run things his own way. I would love to have been on a level of Dan where I could like tell Dave to fuck off. I'm not. So he still runs this place. There's nothing's going to change. You know what I mean? Like that's just not going to happen.
I don't look at the world that way. Like Dave's 99% of the time. He built this place. He's like I said, he's a content genius. And he's also like when he walks in a room, you were like drawn to him. It's bizarre. Like he's like, I met Bill Clinton when I was New Hampshire primaries when I lived in New Hampshire when I was a kid. I was like 12 years old. I met him, and you're just like, holy shit! Like you don't even know who this guy is. You're just kind of like, what is this? What is this creature?
We were talking about that with Rogan. Like you just had like an aura.
Yeah, and you're like, what is this being?
Yeah.
And it's like that with him. And it's like only the second time I ever felt that way. Like around like, and it's just like this is what is this guy? But I will never, I cannot, and I just won't. Because you only get 80 years here, man. I'm just not going to be like, well, that's the way it is, and then it's not going to change. I can't look at the world that way. It's just, I just can't do that.
I commend you for it. The world needs more of yous than me's. I'm just saying that, like, I would probably say the logical counter is the way Dave has done it has brought about more success for Barstool than failure. I think this is categorically wrong, these instances, but without this, you don't get this story, that story, like the everyone's favorite. Like what's different about Barstool is think about like all the other fucking media companies. Like everyone is buddy, everyone's best friends, everyone's friendly, or at least on camera. Like what makes it different is that there's drama. And so we love the drama until the drama, like, rabbit's got the gun sort of thing.
I love the drama too. I don't like the fear. That's the difference.
Totally, but I would say that like the fear that's happening right now. I'm talking for Dave. I don't know. If I was him, I would probably be like, the fear that like 6 or 7 people are feeling right now. I don't fucking care about because overall, this vibe is what got us to this place.
Yeah, I would say Dave.
Right, and I understand what you're saying. Again, I disagree. I think both can live in the same world. But that was what I wanted to try to do at one point here, and I don't think that's going to happen. But
your strategy would be you want to hire new people.
I don't know. I mean, it's easy for me. Like I said, it's not my money.
Just get energy in here.
I just want enthusiasm.
I think a couple people coming in here every day being like, "This is my dream."
Yes.
Might kickstart a couple people being like, "I'm being a little complacent," because I know what you're saying, bro. People do work here. There's working, and then there's like getting after it and going for it, and I get that you also don't feel like you can go for it when there's no safety net and when you have a fucking dictator ruling over you and all that. A lot of it kind of goes in.
Like Dave's always going to be in charge. I think Dave being in charge is a good thing because it keeps people on their toes. I think all that's, don't get me wrong, Dave being in charge is a great thing. Obviously, he brought back the company. I would be fired. I know that, or I would have been, when my contract's over, I would have been gone. Like that's a fact. Yeah. Obviously, I'm the last man. I would have been the first one out. They would have thrown me out with the trash.
I think we all would have been out together.
That was coming. That was coming.
I think I was the first.
I think it was probably. I think there was about 2 people who were not going to be out with the trash, and that was about it.
Why is that skinny man thrown out into the street? Don't get me wrong with that.
I do think there's a difference though between working and aggressively believing in like go fucking get it. And if you bring some new people in, now also what sucks is like you bring in like someone like Brianna, and she's like not here because she's a superstar.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like little breaks like that where it's like if that person was in this office all the time, it would be like a different story.
That's the exception. Look at the last. So let's go to the last hires. The Barstool Idol. Caroline, John Rich, me, Danny Jackal, Jeff Nadeau. We're all doing the best we can. None of us are superstars.
Right.
Like, I mean,
Don't sell yourself short, Clemmer.
no, I mean, look, no,
Your
stop
Clemaholics
this.
were fucking.
Yeah, no, but no, you know what I mean? Like, we're all, like, I know John, I sit next to John Rich every day. He busts his ass. He's doing the rundown. He's blogging. I'm grinding, too. I'm trying to think of idea, whatever. I'm doing it. So, but we're all kind of like grinders. We're not super, we're not even remotely close to stars, but we're all just grinding.
All right, but let me counter again. And this guy is, the guy I'm about to talk about is, I think we're slowly learning, or quickly learning, is almost just a superstar status himself. But, like, Jerry grabbed the golf club and was just like, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing the fucking hay and all these things, you know? And there's a lot of support and all that shit for him, but, like, there's a bunch of people here who can do that too, you know?
Absolutely right. But let's look
and they
at
don't.
Jerry's a great example, though. Let's look at Jerry. Jerry is he's magnetic on camera. He's funny, and people really like him. People are drawn to him. He has a thing about him, especially when he's on camera. You're just drawn to him.
Yeah.
He has a lot of support. He's got a guy, Dan, who has his back through thick and
100%.
thin,
Yep.
who promotes him, who's making a pathway for his guy to succeed, a very clear road.
Yep.
That's like, when I talk about leadership, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. And, you know, I don't know if say like, there's no question, Dave is Jerry's boss. I mean, Dan is, but Dave is Jerry's boss. Dan is Jerry's leader.
Right.
And that's what we don't have.
Sure.
And that's what I don't know how to fix out there. And I
Yeah.
have no idea. I don't know who it should be. You could ask me. I've been thinking about this for months. I don't know who it should be. Because, you know, you go through the names, they're either like too young, haven't been here long enough. No one really makes sense. Roan's probably the best option, but then Roan's busy doing a zillion things. So I don't know.
But even
what the answer is.
like when I was attempting to do it and Dave went on unnamed show and was just like, I'm the boss of New York.
Yeah,
like,
he cut your legs out on live TV.
but it's just like that's not changing. Unless like a Dan comes along, I guess. Like there has to be like another megastar. But like if he's like, I run New York, and he still really like if he still really wants that, you know, control and all that, like that's the answer, fellas.
It is.
That ain't changing.
So if that truth is true, then how do we adjust that truth and make people want to do more content? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
How do we get people to do more content? And that's how. Look, are we ever going to beat Chicago? I don't know. No, I don't. It's a stupid question. Are we going to be able to make better content? I hope so, because right now I think we can improve.
Yeah.
I think Fight, you're absolutely right. We are working. People are blogging. I don't think we get enough respect or whatever. People in the comments are quick to shit on New York. We are working. I think we can do better. And how do we do that? And I feel like I'm worried it's starting to go the other direction a little bit. The pendulum's starting to swing a little bit because people are just getting kicked in the face for so long. And
Love how he says that.
I actually
I'm picturing literally a Christmas story.
that's
maybe
what
I don't have my ear to the grindstone, but I a week ago I would have said the exact opposite, and nothing's changed in that last week. I think people.
I mean, people were silent on Friday.
Well,
Whoa.
I mean, they were silent.
Oh, I thought he said you.
No. I said people were silent,
people
like in
silent
the
on
office on Friday. So I mean, the last week hasn't been
But
great.
people
for
were
morale.
silent because the boss told them you better be silent.
Right.
That's a different thing.
That is true. That's true. But I think that's a ripple effect, though. I think when that happens, then that sprouts off. Well, when
I
do
mean,
I
like,
talk?
I
Now you
was-
start thinking about more what you're saying. The second you start doing that, you're gonna make shitty content.
Yeah, I think it's hard to put yourself in the spot of like a new person or someone who's not at our level where it's like they really probably are like, I'm not gonna say shit right now because
And people will tell me-
I also, like I said, I also would not have said anything, but I was in the office Friday. You were still in the thing. Everyone was like, "Wait, why the fuck can't we say anything?" And everyone was like, "You're told to act like nothing's happening."
I want
And
to
we were like,
categorically
but
say
something is
that.
happening.
That to me, if it is the way I understand it to be true, I think is a low point for Barstool Sports.
Yeah,
I want to be on the record saying how categorically against that I am. If that is the case, that's insane.
It was
that
very
is fucking nuts.
It was very stick by stick. It felt like
Yeah.
I think
someone's
exact
doing
quote-
something. Pretend he's not doing it. What?
I think the
What
exact
does that
quote
mean?
was like, it was like, act like he's just walking in for work.
That's fucking.
They didn't even do that.
and
They
we
were
were like,
afraid to
but-
make eye contact. It was
were
crazy.
We were like, even when he
You
walks
mu-
into
you
work,
must
we
have been
say
like-
hi. Like it's like walking to work, we talk
You know
to
what?
him.
Honestly, if there was some fucking grand plan payoff, like trust me on this. Like, it's going to be amazing,
Yeah.
you know? And then, like, the camera moment happened, and it was like, wow, Dave, like, called it, you know? But there was.
Well, that's what
right?
Again, maybe there was a miscommunication somewhere.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that's what I was told by multiple people.
Yeah.
I was like, I went
That's
down the
just insane.
stairs, and like I
That's
said, it's
insane.
not about me. You know, I went down the stairs, and it was like there was no one there, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to the office and be like, surprise! Like, you know, I feel like I was walking to a surprise party.
It
I'm
feels like,
all right. And it's like,
the silent treatment when someone hits a home run.
yes,
Right? Like,
and that's what they said on the yak. They're like, oh, they're probably just doing that. Like, no one's mad at you. I'm like, all right. And I went back out. They were still quiet. I'm like, all right, guys,
See
still
you
love you
later.
guys. Like, I kind of get like
yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on.
Yeah, well, you're also smart enough to perceive what's happening.
It was like I was talking to the stool scenes people. They were like, I mean, we can't get any footage for stool scenes. They told us
crazy.
no cameras.
I mean, that is
out.
all so crazy. But I genuinely, if I really had to guess, I think Dave fell in love with this joke and this like segment and this bit, and just wanted it to go his way. And when there was talk of like Gia and like Kelly and Ken Jack
But
and
all-
people
even though-
ruining it,
I
I
don't
think he
think-
was just like, stop. Like, I have this like plan of how it's gonna go, because he kept saying the people don't know what they want. I know what's good, and like to some extent he's right on like how to build it that way. And I think he just wanted people to stop touching it.
But
And
I think
that
he
took
was
it to, like,
misinformed
a
on that
level.
one. Like, I don't think he. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think he fully understood what happened, and maybe I don't fully understand what happened. As I understand,
Yeah, he characterized it as like, we are sitting around watching the stream
And
doing
putting it
nothing
out.
and posting it, and
As I understand it, someone, I think it was Gia, posted a video of Kelly watching it.
Right.
And again, as I understand it, somebody.
If you zoom in on someone's
zoomed in
computer
on the URL,
to find a URL and type it into your computer, you are a fucking loser. And
But
I have to
even-
imagine
but even, like, I
a
don't
couple
even-
thousand people did that, and that's it.
You like
Well,
you
once
are
it's
who you
leaked,
are.
like once one person does that, I don't know if you're. I don't know. I'm not gonna
this-
cover through. I think it's hey, you're looking for details. But like,
You
but you
sick
put
fucks.
that. But like once that gets posted
Yeah,
somewhere,
you're one of those. You're one of those freaks, weren't you?
But
you would
I
have
was-
zoomed in on a computer, on Kirk's computer, and
You know
looked
what
for
I like to
something.
do?
You
I like
freak.
to zoom. I like sometimes a picture. I like to zoom in on weird, like the wallpaper or like a book in there.
Freak.
I look at the
Yeah,
book.
but, like,
I
but
like
these-
those
I've done
that
bookcases.
once.
Bookcases are fun to look at. Like what do they read?
But the important thing here is that all of this then falls on tech. Because if you type in the back end,
Yeah, you should not be able to access
a
our
URL to our
preview
back
blogs.
end.
Yeah.
That should not be accessible to everybody.
Agreed.
Like
Agreed.
it wasn't a published blog. Again, as long as I'm understanding everything correctly, someone
It was pretty
reading a
innocuous.
URL to a draft should not be able to type that URL into a thing and get access to that
And,
draft.
and even being like, well, what are you doing? What are you not working? You're just watching a stream. It's like people are blogging, people are doing like you can have a stream
bro.
out.
It's
like,
fucking Barstool Sports.
Yeah.
Things are on the TVs at all
all the
fucking
time.
times.
We're not
Like,
we're not like
we're
zeroed
gonna
in on a
pretend we
computer.
didn't have like
Yeah,
people
it's
just
crazy.
watching soccer in a gambling case.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, come
people
on.
just watch TV. Like
Anything,
people
yeah.
and walk into any entertainment company.
Also,
there's
especially-
TVs around. Things are on the TV. People
And it's
glance
also like,
at it while they're
like,
doing their
I'll
work.
be on my phone or I'll be on the computer looking for things to blog about too. Like it's not like
Brother, more importantly,
like,
if I
looking for
walked in,
topics.
I'd be like, are none of you watching the Klemmer stream right now?
yeah.
Like the biggest thing in the at the company's happening like right now, and you guys are just ignoring. Like that would have been my thought, but I really think he just had this like vision for the way he wanted this thing to play out, and anything that even fucked with it a little bit, he was just gonna devour. And when he gets in tornado mode, it is just watch out. Like don't. There's no
win.
talking. Yeah. Like I don't have the long answer. The short answer is this one blows over, and we do it all again next time.
Now, how did this go in your personal life?
Yeah. I had some family that was upset. My wife gets it. I met both my wives doing improv.
Right.
So my wife, she gets it. Like she understands this content. I told her anytime she can reach out and pull me out of, and I'll, like if we had a death in the family, whatever, she could. So she had basically the golden ticket where she could have told Vibbs to pull me out, and Vibbs would have had to. I told him you have to do
That's
that.
a down ass bitch to be like.
Did she
nah.
ever consider making something up once she found out the stream was gone?
No, that's what I
she
mean. Like,
was
she
like
knew
she
it
was
was
like worried for me, but then like
Bro,
she
let
had,
me tell you that. Like, listen, if you did that, then then Portnoy's the crosshairs on your wife.
Oh yeah.
You
No.
lied about it. Fucking death in the family.
No. She
That would
said
be
she
a
had
nightmare.
an hour when it pulled, and she was like concerned for me, like what's going on, and then she's like, all
But
right,
you would just
like,
it was,
stop.
Again,
Like,
the important thing though is nothing changed for Klemmer.
nothing.
Right.
He did
And
everything he was
honestly,
going to do.
to Dave's-
Let me just
to
ask you,
Dave's
you
credit-
sleep like a motherfucker, huh,
So,
dude?
yeah, let me-
that was the only thing I would say was a misstep of yours was you slept a little too much. Man.
I don't sleep.
so maybe that's why you were
I
sleeping.
had 2 hours of sleep last night. I don't sleep. So I go to bed usually around 2 2:30. I have to like usually get myself to go to sleep, and then I get up around 7. I usually get about 5 hours sleep a night. That's usually just what I do. I go to sleep between 2 and 3, get up between 7 and 8. Just like what I do, how I live my life. However, I have an alarm clock. I've had the same alarm clock since I was 6 years old. It's the one relic I have.
Who has an alarm clock at 6 years old? What a fucking freak you are.
I'll send you
first grader
when I get
be
home.
like,
I'll send you a picture of it.
snooze.
I'll send you a picture of my alarm clock. It is a General Electric alarm clock from 1987.
One of those
No,
fucking...
it's digital. It's the red digital.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
old
That
school.
is like the alarm clock.
It doesn't have a digital radio. It has the tuner.
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
I'll send when I get home. I'll send you a picture because you can show.
That's fucking
I have
hilarious.
and this alarm clock, the General Electric.
6 years
God
old.
bless. This thing works like the fucking balls. It's
Clemmer
never
was 6 years old going, rise and grind.
yeah, gotta go to first grade. Like, let's go. And I've had this alarm clock, like I said, for 35 years, 36 years of my life, 37 years of my life, and it's awesome. But that's if I don't have my alarm clock on the weekends, I'll sleep. And I didn't really. And then what happens is I'll get up and I'm so groggy because I sleep really well. I actually got up to pee a few times in the stream, which is very weird for me. I usually don't. And I usually just sleep through the night. I'm like a zombie.
Yeah.
And I wake up and I'm really dumb. And I usually sometimes will take another nap when I get up. But like on a weekday, I don't sleep. So I'm famous. Like my family and friends all like, you never sleep. So I love that I've become like the sleeping guy.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. And
have
also
any-
just bored as fuck.
Do you have any roundabout calculation for how many hours you slept at last week?
Yeah, it sounds like, let's say I was in there for 100 hours. I would guess I probably slept like 45.
No way.
Maybe.
Is it
I had
that
4 nights of
high?
sleep, right?
Bro,
I guess,
at one point you were putting in
you
12-hour
slept?
clips.
You slept for half the week?
I don't know. So
I get it, Dave. I get it.
I don't
Clever, that's insane.
I don't know. That's what I've heard. I guess I was going to bed. So I thought I was going to bed at 11. I was going to bed at like 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I also didn't.
Yeah, when you
remember,
get fucked
I don't
up, you
have
don't
any
know
idea of
time.
time.
Yeah.
So I thought I was
You're just
going
like,
to
I
bed
guess it's later
later
up.
than I was.
Yeah.
Because I also like I told them give me dinner anytime after 6, and sometimes they give me dinner. I'm like, it feels like it's 7:30. I think I was probably right at 6.
Yeah.
So then I think and then time goes by so slow in there. Yeah. I think it's like, oh, it must be this.
Did you have any freak out moments? Like, were you like, all right, I quit or anything?
I got bitchy Thursday night. For an hour, I got kind of cranky. I'm like, I don't want to be here. This is, and like, no one saw this. But then I literally stopped myself. I go, oh my God. Because you know where our office is. There were literally, 30 yards away from me, people sleeping on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I'm like, they would give anything to trade places to be in this room for the night. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing bitching? Like, stop.
Yeah.
Like, stop. So then I got, but for a good hour, I whined like a little bit.
Dude, I think I forget what day was what, but I remember I came in one day after the stream was off, and I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday, and I asked Vibs or somebody, I was like, you sleep a lot last night? And they're like 12 and a half hours. I was like,
oh, by the way,
I was like, get the fuck out of here.
I gotta hype up my guy Vibs. So Vibs worked his ass off. I know, and I love the fact that the puzzles and the rice divided people. Be like, this is a dumb thing, or he should do it. He's lazy. I love the fact that people were like arguing about it. That means it's a good challenge, in my opinion. You want that. You want people to love it or hate it. He a couple nights he slept here. So then his whole job shifted after Wednesday. He went from taking care of me and helping Dave do his project. He was the one running the printers to get the puzzle. Like, he was a man on a mission. So like, Vibs should get a ton of credit. He is, I know I saw people online, it was not a good friend. He is a great friend. That's not true. He took care of me.
Well, there you go. There you have it. That's the perfect example of just like people on the internet talking about things that they don't fucking know about.
But I can understand how they look that way though. Like,
But-
oh, you
but
got to let him
that's,
out.
like, the
but like,
point is,
he
like-
was literally had two. He was like serving two masters. They were like, I got to take care of this guy. He's my
Are you
friend.
saying you're a Vibs master?
Well, for that week, he says like, he's like, I'm taking.
Can we
care.
use that word anymore?
He's, it's an old expression. Is it that old? Yeah. But like he's like, I'm taking care of.
It's an old expression from like
1861.
400 years ago in America.
He said like, I'm taking care of a 44-year-old man this week, and like he had to take care. He had to feed me. Like, I had to be fed, and like But then at the same time, he's like, I also can't let him know what's going on.
Did you jerk off, Clemmer?
No.
You didn't pound off the whole week?
Dude. So Robbie Fox.
I don't know if I believe that.
Oh, I will. I'll swear on a ton of Bibles. So,
All right, second
I'm not
question.
religious.
Are you religious?
I'll say this. I swear on my family's life, I did not.
Did you have any moments where you're like, I would love to jerk off right now?
No, dude. Hey, so
Was
here,
there any part of the gene sleeping? I did hear your explanation, and I thought that made sense, like keeping your routine. But was there any part of that was gonna like maybe this will pin her down?
Oh, like the penis?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the penis.
Dude, okay, so a few
Pin
things.
the penis down.
Let me explain this.
Pin the
A
penis.
number of different reasons. Like, this, I didn't even contemplate it. A, I'm 44, and Robbie said, he's like, you know, you gotta let the demon. He said on Stool Street, you gotta let the demon out every day. I texted Robbie, said, bro, when you're 44, you
Ain't
gotta
no
let the demon
demons.
out every day.
Yeah.
Like, you can go.
Bro, that's been one of the biggest shifts in my life. I remember being like, I'm gonna be just criminally horny for the rest of my life, huh? And then, thank God, it has subsided in recent years.
when I was
I'm
like 14, it
porn.
was like,
What are you,
what,
fucking
every
15?
other hour?
Watch porn?
Dude, but like, there's
Watch people fuck? You're nuts.
I've slept on camera a couple times.
Sleeping on camera is a little creepy.
And
Very creepy.
You don't know what you can say or
I
do.
think every single time I got hard.
Oh,
But-
really? Oh,
Yeah.
so I felt like,
Like when they woke me up for Survivor,
Your dick was hard?
I was like, you need to give me a minute.
So you're doing the fucking thing with your dick
Bro,
tucked up?
Yeah,
Tara-
you
Tara
won the
came in
challenge,
here,
though.
And I balled the comforter up and I rolled over and I was like, so when's the challenge start? And they were like, they're like
5 seconds.
like right now, and I was like, well, I'm gonna need every second I have. So,
Did you come or did you just
no,
get you just got it under
I've
control?
never had a wet dream in my life. But the
No, I mean, did you jerk off to get rid of it?
No,
or
no,
you
no,
just
no,
you
no,
just
I
you
just
just
fucking-
Jedi
those
mind
go
tricked
away
it?
on their
just
own.
punch
But
myself in
I
the
didn't even
face.
have that. It was the least sexual room. Like there was nothing. Remember too. It's not,
Hey,
I had
Clemmer,
a base.
had
I had
sex in
no.
a lot of
I was gonna say,
non-sexual rooms.
I'll make any room sexual, bruh.
You ever been to a porta potty at Preakness, brother?
Not exactly the
Not
place where
that
romance is
sexual.
born. Yeah.
There was no obviously. There was not even a picture of anyone to look at. I was like, I had a baseball encyclopedia.
Bro.
Well, when I-
You think I need a-
That's the oldest thing you ever said.
Come on.
And you just talked about having an alarm clock from '86. I didn't have a picture to look at.
Fights, man. When the JC Penny catalog came and I was like
Oh,
12
I
or 13, you go to that bra section, that's like a month of good times. When in 1992, that's all you have, man.
Yeah.
Like, but now it's like, no, I honestly, like, that would honestly never cross. Like, it's, like I said, if I did that when I was 24, at stream I was 24, it would have been, if I did it when I was 14.
Come on the ceiling.
14, that's like,
Painting the walls.
yeah, you're like you know, was it like 3-4 times a day? Like
Yeah.
easy. Like you're literally an insane person. You're a dangerous person when you're 14. At 44, it's like if twice a week's like that's a lot, man. Honey, I don't know. Like we wasn't it Wednesday? We just like I don't know. Like you get old. Like it just happens. Like it just. So no, I honestly did not even cross my mind. Plus, if I did, can you imagine like how that would sound?
Well, I would hope you would
I did the
go to
bathroom.
the bathroom or something. I don't know.
That bathroom's awfully close to microphones.
If you were just, listen, if you were thinking about pounding off while you were on the camera or something, you're a fucking lunatic.
No, but if you go in the but if you go in the bathroom, what if God
just hurt?
Like, oh my God,
That would be insane. Imagine if people just like,
Everyone just ripped their earphones out.
yep.
take that visual home, guys. No, but that was not even contemplated.
Virgin Mary full of weed, Hitler's balls, cocaine, chickens, and a priest with a shotgun.
What?
Am I talking about my weekend? Oh no, folks. I am talking about The Gentleman.
On Netflix.
It is Guy Ritchie's first series ever.
First TV show ever.
If you are a fan of movies like Snatch, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, then you're gonna lose your shit over this Netflix series. That's not just us doing an ad read. That's also every single review of the show.
Everything
It is
I've heard from
top to
everybody
bottom.
in my life said The Gentleman is the real deal. It is a Guy Ritchie movie in TV form.
It follows a new cast of low-down lords and ladies slumming it in Britain's underworld, guns out and pinkies up. Watch what happens when you try to play gangsters at their own game. Don't miss The Gentleman.
Now playing only on Netflix.
Did you break solitary confinement?
Absolutely not. And I have proof of it.
Stupid question.
I
It's
have,
so stupid.
I have proof, and I don't know if anyone's brave enough to find this footage, but I can prove it. On Wednesday night, so all my entire life, I've never clogged the toilet. I've never clogged the toilet. My life is a point of pride for me. I'll tell family. I'll tell everyone. I've never clogged the toilet.
yeah, there's no shit in your body, bro. You can't.
That's right. This is absolutely right. I don't eat a lot either,
Yeah.
obviously. But even when I ate,
It's like a rabbit trying to
yes,
clog a toilet.
Right, yeah, exactly. There's a little raisinets pop out.
Yeah, yeah.
Got better chance jumping in.
Clemmer clogged the toilet with shit? No, Clemmer
yeah.
clogged the toilet. He
Yeah,
fell in.
Yeah, 1983, but we don't talk about that. No, so the water levels in the toilet were always off. So the first time I went into that room, the toilet didn't work.
Oh, no.
So we had a backup plan. The backup plan was always that if the toilet breaks, I could use there's a bathroom in that same hall. And I actually drew a sketch of it, which nobody saw because I showed the camera, but I wasn't on stream. But so on the same floor, there is a bathroom. I would gladly take a video of this, and maybe that's the first thing I do on my YouTube channel. I'll go upstairs and I'll show people what the bathroom is. It's actually a cleaner bathroom than my Saw bathroom that I was in. And I was in there, and I say to the camera, so I clogged the toilet. The water level, so we got the toilet to work, but the water level's always changed. The toilet's just really faulty. The toilet clogged because I used 2 ply of toilet paper and it clogged. So I didn't have a plunger in there either. But I'm like, I'm going to try my best to stay in this room as long as I can. But if I use that bathroom, I'm okay, because as long as I don't go down the stairs, I'm still in solitary confinement.
That was such a technicality play by Dave and Kirk to be like, no. He stepped out. It's like, anybody with a brain, anybody who was saying that you broke.
This was in meetings.
Well, I went so far. I looked it up.
Okay.
I looked at the definition.
Yeah.
Research John and definition John is out today.
This is scary.
Bro, the thought that John was so fired up about this that he looked up the definition of solitary confinement to prove that you didn't break
And
it.
did
It was so
research
funny.
blog count. Look at this guy.
Number 1 Clemaholic in the world.
The says, although solitary confinement conditions vary from state to state and among correctional facilities, systematic policies and conditions include confinement behind a solid steel door for 22 to 24 hours a day. Obviously, you didn't have the steel door. You had the whatever. But even if someone wants to make the argument that door was it, you're up for 30 seconds, 22 to 24 hours a day.
Right.
Well within the window.
Well within the
Severely limited contact with other human beings.
Well
I think there was some. I believe you said you saw a camera, not a cameraman.
So I saw a camera. Now I did. Sometimes when Vibs would feed me meals, I a couple times saw a finger.
Okay.
Now when I poked my head around the stairs, I go, "What time is it?" What you hear me panic? What time is it? I looked over and I saw. You know, sometimes cameras have like that square. You guys know better than I. Like kind of almost a squarish looking lens on top of the camera. I don't know how I'm describing this. I'm probably sound like a moron. I saw just a glimmer of that, and I go, "Oh!" and I ran back in the room. Now, if I had not seen that camera, would I have gone downstairs? I think probably yes, but I don't know.
All right, we'll cut this.
But that still doesn't. You're still within the definition.
I always want to be honest, because if I'm not, I
we
really
gotta teach you guys a lie.
I really want to no, because this is important, and it's my. And if I went down this, see, at the end, I don't give a fuck
Right.
if anyone. I don't. And no, I
Let me say
appreciate
this:
like,
you would be.
I don't care.
I would have fucking murdered you if you made it like 98 hours and then walked out. What did you think was going to happen? They were going to come get you at 100 hours, bro.
No,
what was the original plan? Like the original plan before Dave got involved, before anything. What was the original plan for?
How was the 100 hours supposed to end?
So yeah, I think it was going. The original plan that
because I was thinking about, I bet they didn't talk about it, and then he thought to himself, "Wait a minute, I never told someone to come get me, so maybe now I do."
No, there was. So I didn't know any of the challenges except for the last one. The last one is going to be me staying. So that they were going to be like, "Listen, we have a deal for you if you want to take it. You can either do the 100 hours or an hour early, but you have to stay in. You have to be compact for an hour straight, and then if you do that, we'll let you out."
Would you have done it?
I don't know. I think at that point I was
that?
almost ready to be like, "Fuck it, I'm going to do the full 100." I was going to almost deny it, and I was like, "Fuck, let's go, guys." But then when my mind started scrambling, and I try not to let fear dictate my job ever here, but I was kind of a basket case at that point. I'm like, I don't want to be accused of not working now. So now I'm obviously on Dave's radar. I'm like, should I go and write a blog? Like, what do I? And you can see this at great shot in stool scenes. My eyes going back and forth. You can see my brain, like the monkey in my brain is like, what do you do? What do you do? Because when the only thing that gave away this was a thing, honestly, was Dave. Because when Dave jumps on the microphone, I'm like, why does Dave care about little old me? Like, this is obviously a bigger thing than I think it is. Yeah. That was the tell.
Right.
But then I got mind fucked that I'm going to get yelled at for not working, and I don't want to appear lazy. But then I also didn't realize people were calling me lazy because I was sleeping, but I didn't know that yet. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know what to do, and you see like how I'm moving and how I'm very kind of, and I'm doubting myself every step I take. I'm doubting myself, but it would have been really painful for me to take that step on that stair. I never got that close, so I don't know what I would have done. But if you put a gun in my head and said, what would you have done? Or I'd say, I think I might have gone down the stairs, maybe.
Clemmer, shut up.
No, but if I'm not, honest, then man. Like, why would anyone believe me?
Part of me hoped that you were like gonna like walk towards the door and then stop and be like, I'm doing another 100. Fuck you guys. Like, start banging out push-ups and be like, I live here now. Fuck you.
I didn't know what you guys know.
Yeah.
And I feel like I kind of had that moment when I saw the camera and I said, I stay. Like, I was really I'm proud of that.
Bro, I made a whole video that ended up, like, you know when your tweet goes to tweet and then it just, like,
dies.
The bar, yeah. So I don't think I ever saw the light of day. You just going, I stay. And then it zoomed in on your face. I stay. I stay. It was like, if he stays, I stay. Let's go. Clamaholics rally.
Like I felt good about like I had like kind of this weird like Truman Show moment where I catch the camera watching me because I was watching that camera all week and it did kind of stop tracking me at one point. I'm like, why?
Yeah. Well, because no one's watching.
but honestly, the Ken Jack stuff, any of that stuff, I had no idea.
Morse code. What are you?
But like I said, if anything, it almost made me think this is good.
Working.
People like this. They're let's go. Yeah, everyone's watching.
All right, last question, and we'll wrap up. When you first put the puzzle together and it said like 50,000 tweets trending in America, were you like, a Vulcan man?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, fuck, people like this.
did it. That was when you were
that part's mean.
I was
but
walking
funny
around
mean.
the
That's
office
funny
going,
mean.
No, because I knew what the next puzzle was, and you were like, "Thank you so much. This is so great."
That was
like,
sickening.
I was like, "Stop talking,
No,
please."
but that to me is funny mean. Like that's like mean, but that's like it had a payoff.
I also like. I know I spent the last how long I've been doing this saying like, oh, like everything should be nice. We need to have more enthusiasm, and like I'm promoting this kind of gentle office. I do say like I work at Barstool. Like when you sign up for these things, you know like there's a good chance you get your head shoved in a locker. Like I get that.
You get kicked in the face every day at Barstool. Yeah. That's why you work at Barstool.
But you get that can happen. So like when I put the puzzle together, it wasn't like I'm working at Disney and that happened. It's like, all right, like I get
Some
it.
fuck shit happened, but fuck shit happens all the time here.
But at the end of the day, like this is what I thought when I went back in. I sat and like thought for a second. I'm like, I'm doing this, and this is maybe where I went wrong with content, and that's a great point. I'm doing this for me. Now you can say, all right, well then don't do that at work. But I still thought it was a good enough idea to do here.
I think that the best content. I think you will have flops occasionally, obviously.
Of course.
But I think the best content will always be, and this isn't some, revolutionary idea. Will be what you're doing for you. I think that'll always be the best.
I agree 100%. If you're if I'm gonna do what I'm passionate about, I'm gonna care about it more. I'm like. And like Rat Race, I love doing Rat Race. I love every element. I love it so much. It makes me so happy. I think we're gonna have a new episode coming out next month. I'm so amped, and I love it. I'm so passionate about it. It makes me so happy, and it just makes me thrilled. And I'm gonna have stuff like Solitary Confinement, which is like, all right, was that even good? I don't know, but I love doing it. Like,
I also think part of the reason why Dave was like, I'm gonna take a big dump all over this is because he knew how much you loved it.
But
if it was just like, again, if it was me, I think he'd be like, I don't know.
Well, then he better start eating like a lot more prunes because I'm going to keep doing shit and he's going to keep shitting on it.
Talk that shit, Klemmer. Eat your prunes, he says.
And that's okay. I'm okay with him taking shots. That's fine. And honestly, like, I have no problem taking. And if he wants to have me come in on Thursday, have unnamed. I'll tell him everything he's saying to you guys.
Yeah. Yep.
That's fine.
No, that's
if he wants to have it out on Thursday, I'm fine with that.
That's the one thing about Klemmer. He always keeps it real. So it's all very intriguing stuff. I think if you're into Barstool, it's interesting questions. I don't know if there's real answers, but it's a good look behind the curtain for sure.
I have a question before we go. This is for everybody. I was asked the other day to make a video for my high school.
God.
Welcoming accepted students. What the fuck am I going to do?
That is the last thing I think I would ask John Feitelberg to do.
Bro, like I was like, of course.
Do they know? Like, do they know you're?
I'm
know
speaking
who you
to
are?
I'm speaking to 8th graders. I'm like,
Oh my.
do you guys like podcasts? Then there's a chance
that sounds like
I've
like
met
a crime.
one you've listened to. I am one. I have the phone number of the guy who owns Miss Peaches. What am I supposed to do on that? I'm genuinely asking because I don't know.
Ask the people. Everyone tweet at John what he should
No,
make.
don't do that. I'm not gonna read it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Just do some generic shit then.
Dude, you mix in there a couple of and if the whatever the 5% of kids that are
You loved high school, right?
I loved high school.
Oh, there you go.
Talk about that.
Talk
the
about
best years of my life were in high school. Blah,
is there
blah,
a
blah,
teacher that's still there? That's when you were there. You can like make fun of that teacher a little bit, like playfully.
No. Funny you should ask what happened to my favorite teacher.
Maybe your second favorite.
All right. That's the end of the podcast. All right. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.